With reference to SDG 11.2, my group's hypothesis is that transport is more accessible to those living in public housing estates than in private estates. Below are the definitions of key terms in the hypothesis. We collected data of public transport facilities from these two sites, Bukit Timah, a wealthier estate with mostly private housing, and Serangoon, heartland with public HDB flats. These two sites were aptly chosen as they greatly contrasted the accessibility of public transport in private and public housing estates. Below are the factors and indicators considering the gathering and analyzing of our group data. Link bridges, sheltered pathways, and the close proximity to many HDB blocks makes the MRT station and bus interchange readily accessible to the residents of Serangoon. Also, the presence of bicycles show that residents can easily cycle there. Similarly, the bus stop at Serangoon is near HDB blocks and also sheltered walkways, making it accessible even if it rains. If Bukit Timah landed properties extend far down the streets, hence the residents have to walk a great distance to get to the main road and to the nearest MRT station or bus stops. The many bicycles parked outside the MRT station could imply its far distance from residents' houses, requiring them to cycle there. Furthermore, the entire pathway from the stretch of landed houses to the MRT station is unsheltered, making it inaccessible for residents should it be raining. Although there are 4 bus stops within the land area marked out in green, they are all concentrated along Adam Road and do not serve the residents in the stretch of landed houses far from the bus stops. Example, the Wharton Estate, Wharton Rise, and landed houses from Shelford Road. Hence, public transport is very inaccessible for the residents there. In our observations at the peak period, there were 5 times more commuters using the public transport system in Serangoon than in Bukit Timah, 560 and 120 respectively. This implies that public transport in Serangoon is more accessible and convenient than in Bukit Timah. Due to the lack of bus stops at Arcadia Road, a Bukit Timah resident interviewed walked 20 minutes from his house to the nearest bus stop daily. Furthermore, bus arrival timings are very interspersed at 20 minutes interval, making his daily commute a nightmare. He rated public transport in Bukit Timah as very inconvenient and inaccessible. Similarly, a teenage girl cited an almost 20-minute walk from her house to the bus stop on MRT stations. Due to the great walking distance and time needed, she rated the convenience and accessibility of public transport in her area a shocking 2 out of 10. In contrast, it only takes a Serangoon resident a 5-minute walk from his house to bus interchange. He commutes daily by bus and rated the convenience and accessibility of public transport a 9 over 10. Lastly, Serangoon residents took 5.5 minutes to walk to the nearest public transport facility, exactly half that of Bukit Timah residents, which average 11 minutes. This clearly highlights the disparity in convenience and accessibility of public transport in private and public housing estates. Based on the data given above, I agree with my group's hypothesis. Public transport is more accessible to those living in public housing estates. My proposed action to improve the accessibility of public transport for residents living in private housing estates is to be implementing shuttle bus services in areas where MRT bus services are inaccessible. This is a brief introduction to the shuttle bus service. Currently, transport facilities in the Bukit Timah region are only located along the main roads, resulting in long walking time and distance from residents' houses to the nearest bus stop or MRT stations, making it very inaccessible. To solve this, shuttle bus service can be implemented in areas far away from transport facilities, and shuttle bus pickup points can be built at locations marked on the map within next year. This reduces walking time for residents to the existing MRT station or bus stops, greatly increasing the accessibility of public transport in these private housing estates. On the logistics side, the shuttle bus will mainly operate during peak hours from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and also 5:30 to 8 p.m. Intervals of about 10 minutes while outside of these timings, there will either be few to no shuttle bus service to conserve resources. The key limitation of the geographical investigation was that we stood inside the bus interchange at Serangoon to conduct the participant observation. Hence, the number of people counted included people who were changing buses and not only the residents commuting by buses. Since the number of the people at a bus interchange is naturally higher than that at a normal bus stop, it is unreliable to compare human traffic at Serangoon with that at Bukit Timah. With that, we conclude that the higher footfall at Serangoon implies a more accessible public transport system. An improvement could be standing at the entrance or exit of the bus interchange instead. These allow us to get more accurate data of the number of Serangoon residents commuting by public transport without including the people changing buses. This increases the reliability and validity of the data collected, allowing us to make more conclusive findings to justify our hypothesis.